Warning. This episode contains strong language, graphic depictions of violence and death that may be disturbing for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You true crime freaks and geeks. This is Shelly.
My name is Brandon.
And I'm Sam.
I'm Braden.
And you're listening to
A beer.
A crime.
A tale.
Oh my god, that was epic.
It was like music to my ears.
Sir.
Yep, this is shit.
Yep, I told you.
It's
That's
like drinking gasoline.
That's the
Do
peach
you like
tea
to drink gasoline?
Crown Royal.
Yeah, I filled up today on gasoline. Ivy had a sale on gas, and I was like, well, this is my opportunity. Let's fill up some cans.
Yes. Well, welcome you guys to our first ever YouTube episode. We couldn't think of a better way to do it other than having our number one fan, Braden. He's been awesome. He's been here ever since, the beginning. So we appreciate that.
Yes, I prefer having him on the podcast instead of the Stephen King approach. Where he locks us up in the basement and beats our legs.
Oh, no.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Trust me, Paul.
We'll save that one.
Trust me.
Dirty birdie.
God damn it. Okay. All right, Shelly.
It's okay. I'm just smacking the shit out of stuff again. It's fine.
Do you guys have any stories?
You put me on the spot. Damn it.
I haven't had any encounters with my neighbor yet.
That's good.
So I'm just waiting for that one day.
I found out my dog has epilepsy, but that's not a funny story.
No,
it's
not funny.
It's not. And the sad thing was, it took him forever to come out of his seizure, and it was like it was hours. It was crazy. They had to give him like Valium through his nose. Now that's kind of funny if you think about it. Yeah, they took like a shot and shoved the Valium up his nose.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that actually worked.
So basically they just had your dog like mainline it? He
No.
just snorted it like
he
Coke?
snorted it like Coke.
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of like a line of Coke, but was liquid version.
I wonder if people do that with Valium.
Okay.
And, well, it stopped the seizure, but, he couldn't stop drooling. So.
Maybe we should try snorting Valium, see what happens.
But the funny part is like.
No.
I came. So I came home from work, and he, of course, always tries to greet me. This is the dog that is afraid of the dark. So. Yeah. This is the same dog.
Reverse? What?
Yes, I already told the story.
Oh, yeah.
How he was afraid of the dark, and he
I was
wakes
so
me up.
confused.
He also wakes me up at 2 a.m. every morning so he could pee, and if I don't take him out, he becomes like a big giant baby and starts whining at my pillow, so I can take him to go pee. So, anyways,
at your pillow specifically, not at
mine.
you at the pillow.
No, I think it's because my head's there. So then he lays his head and is like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah."
That's what your dog sounds like.
Pretty much, yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
now you know
I
why
would
I
hate
get up.
hearing him bark.
Are you sure your dog is not actually a dog but a broken rooster?
He might be. I have no idea. So. Well, yeah, that sounds like him actually. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Oh, no.
So I come home from work and I dropped his bag of dog food because I just went to Sam's and bought one of those monster-sized bags of dog food.
I don't sell dog food.
I was going to say, you didn't come over here.
Okay, Sam's Club. She has her own club. Good job, Sam.
Yeah, thanks. I worked hard on it.
So, I bought the giant bag of dog food, and I saw that, normally he runs up to me, he didn't, and I saw him laying in front of the couch, and he was acting weird, and that's when we found out he was having a seizure. So I dropped the bag of dog food, kind of in the middle of my living room. So when we get back, remember, he's all drugged up on Valium and drooling everywhere, and he can't really walk either. So when we get back, I set him down, near the front door so I could get his big, giant wraparound pillow, and he drags his body over to the dog food
Oh God.
and lays his little drooling face all over it.
Eat this. That's good.
That's exactly
It's this bacon flavor. I'm sorry. I'm sure your dog is a nice dog.
He's a great dog, but to be honest, that's 100% what I said to him. I'm like, you fucking idiot. There is absolutely no way you can eat. You choke on it or just like lay there slobbering all over your food. It was like,
I just would like to point out how well Brandon did at that. I think he
did that like spot on.
I think he's practiced that a time or two.
I like this food.
that's you totally channeled my dog. Like,
Oh God.
I could bring George onto this podcast and you two could bond.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you could finally tell me what he's
if he has
saying.
a seizure during the episode, I'm gonna feel bad.
Oh, he probably won't. And if
That's
If there's ever like a movie that's casting for the village idiot, I think you should go and try out for it.
I look
Please.
the part, I sound the part, I am the part.
You are like it's meant for you, and it's most likely based on you.
Adam Sandler, where are you at? I would like
Yes.
to star in one of your movies.
Or Jim Carrey.
Yes.
so, yeah, this is like fruity flavored gasoline. Every time I drink it,
Nice. Yeah.
I'm gonna torture
I
myself
drank-
through this whole thing.
I took like maybe 4 sips of mine, and then I was done.
Yeah.
I couldn't do
What
it
was the
anymore.
other one like in the early episode that you kept trying to choke down?
I don't know.
I
There was some
remember that.
terrible ones along the
Where
way.
you just kept drinking it, and you're like every time.
Was it the My
Horrible
Four
face.
Loco episode?
It was that episode, but I don't remember what it was. We had some pretty horrible drinks along the way.
And you just keep drinking them.
I do, because I hate to see something that's cost money go to waste, even if it's only like $2.
It's garbage.
It's garbage, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
It's like it's garbage, but I gotta drink my garbage.
All right, Shelly, what do we got?
I have one of your favorite types of episodes, an unsolved mystery.
Dun,
dun, dun. This
Sorry, I don't
one,
have that sound.
I should have made that.
Cue X-Files. Cue the X-Files.
Hit it.
so this is about the. This is gonna be about the.
Anyways,
Not
go
quite
ahead.
the same.
You said hit it. That's all I got.
Or the applause. Doo-doo-doo-doo. That's not applause. I don't know what the fuck that noise was.
Oh, applause. Do-do-do-do. I love how my clap sounds like that. Do-do-do-do. What?
Can you imagine, like, your entire audience going,
That's a drink. That's a drink.
gasoline.
I already fucked up.
Yes, you did.
Was
Yes,
that
you did.
me? Or-
Yes, that was you. I didn't touch
Oh,
it.
I thought that was Sam.
Oh, my
Okay.
skills. All right. So this is the story of the tattooed lady from Davenport, Iowa. So,
God.
What?
oh my gosh, I'm very excited. I stumbled across this and I was like, this is my episode. All right, so let me kind of just dive into her background first. So Margaret Beatrice Martin was born February 17th. I lied already.
That's a drink.
Back it up.
Let's start over. Okay, Margaret was born February 7th, 1913, to Joseph and Flora Martin. They lived in Steinbergville, Ohio. I hope I said that correctly. And she was one of 7 children. There was like a ton of them. Yeah. I decided not to write down all their names, but yeah, there was a whole
okay.
bunch of them. Margaret sometimes went by the nickname Peggy. So if you ever wanted to do more research on this, you'll probably see the name Peggy a little bit more than Margaret.
Peggy.
Yep. There's
I'm
not,
not really sure how they got Peggy out of her name.
I don't know, but I know for some reason they always went by Peggy for Margaret, but I don't know how.
That's weird.
Yeah. I could see Marge
Maybe it was something that she did, and they just nicknamed her.
or Margie.
I really hope that she's not pegging people while it's a child.
No, but I know. Oh gosh.
Anyways, go ahead and
Wow.
continue. Before we already get taken down.
Yeah.
So there's not much known about her life, but I'll give you like what is available out there basically. So Margaret was a woman way ahead of her time. She grew up during the women's suffrage movement, so she got to see women get, the right to vote. The warring 20s.
The Warwick.
We're gonna
The
skip
Warwick
that.
Trotters.
The roaring 20s. So, women finally didn't have to, wear dresses down to their fucking toes, whatever they wore them to.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
What skirts are you wearing back in those days?
I don't know. They just wore dresses, okay? They were a little bit fancier and flashier and whatever.
Gotcha.
Of course, then she went through the Great Depression and she went through both World Wars. So I feel like these events basically were like a huge kind of positive thing for her in the sense like she kind of embraced this like women's movement, freedom kind of thing that women were like rooting for because they weren't
Gotcha.
they weren't like being counted as property anymore by men. Like,
Damn.
they could actually shut the fuck up, dude.
Legally, but
Yeah. So, and in my opinion, she was kind of a badass in that kind of way. And she eventually meets a man named Elmer Treese. Elmer joins the military during World War II, and while overseas, he's killed during the Battle of the Bulge. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that makes Margaret a widower. Now, she begins moving like all over the country, and I do mean like all over. At one point, she goes to New York City, and she starts getting tattoos. So,
That's the
super,
tattoo part coming in.
Yeah, and that's super rare. Women back then didn't get tattoos, or if they did, they didn't get them like all over her body like she had, and they were usually being able to cover them up. So
What kind of tattoos did she have?
we'll get there. We're not there. Stop.
Dang it.
It's my story.
No, just skip ahead to the tattoo.
She eventually, I don't know how I ended up with another circus person, but she eventually starts telling people that she's part of a circus or sideshow or carnival.
Is she though?
And as the tattooed lady, she just tells people this. I never find any record that she's actually working for any specific circus.
it was
Back
her
then it
life
was
goal,
popular,
so
wasn't it?
she just
Yeah.
had to make up a story.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So everybody get prepared for me to destroy somebody's last name. Okay. Now she does decide to give marriage a second chance when she meets restaurant worker Stanley. Okay. This is where it's going to go fall apart for everybody. Okay. I think
Drink until she gets done with the word.
I thought his name was Dumkowski.
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 Dumb
You
cows.
dumb cow.
Now, my husband very specifically told me it is not. He told me it's Dom Kiewicz or something. Whiskey. So I don't freaking know, but it's not Dumkowski.
It looks like Dumkowsk.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Dumkowsk.
He pronounced it correctly for me, and I tried really hard to memorize it, but I failed. So
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can't remember the name of our final segment. How can he expect you to remember a
I don't know.
wild ass name? You're like, no, it looks like dumb cow.
It was Dumkowski. So they end up getting married in 1945 in New Cumberland, West Virginia, and that's where Margaret's family had all moved to.
And then they bought a cow.
That was
Hopefully.
dumb.
Yeah.
It was a dumb cow. She loved him enough that she did get his name tattooed across her chest with the words
God.
"True Love."
Wow.
Dumb cow, true
I bet-
love.
I'm gonna foreshadow and say that they broke up.
Well, that's kind of a comment I made. I was like, like there's a saying in the tattoo world that's like, if you decide you're going to tattoo someone's name on you,
It's bad luck.
it's bad luck. Like, you tattoo mom, you tattoo your kids, you don't tattoo anybody else. Like, you just don't do it.
No.
So,
And then she ate him.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
What's wrong with you?
He's it's okay. He survives. So,
He survives.
He survives.
being
He survives.
yes.
Piece by piece.
She only ate his toes.
Ew.
Ugh.
So,
She ate his arms and legs. Changed his name to Matt.
Matt Dumb Cow. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, they got a divorce. Or no, they didn't. They just separated. So they separate after less than a year of marriage, and it was all because she got into an argument with him, and she was just like, I'm out.
Okay.
I'm bouncing.
Adios, motherfucker.
So she moves to Grand Island, Nebraska for a little while. I don't know why. I don't know what's there. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Just random.
Just random.
She went to Nebraska.
She goes to
York.
Nebraska.
And she vanished.
I mean, we're not even covering all the states. We'll mention another one or two here in a second.
Gotcha.
But in May of 1947, she decides that she's going to pack up and move to the amazing town of Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, wow.
Ew. Sorry for all the Davenport listeners.
Ew. So for anyone who's not familiar with the Quad Cities, I'll kind of explain it real quick. So the Quad Cities is 4 towns, obviously quad. And it's Davenport, Iowa, Bettendorf, Iowa, Rock Island, Illinois, and Moline, Illinois. And they're all like separated by the Mississippi River and a bunch of little fucking islands. And I don't know, it's fine. That's all I'm saying about the Quad Cities. It's fine.
It's aight.
It's bitchin'.
It's aight.
It's bitchin'. It's bitchin'.
It has,
Bussin'.
it has
Respectfully.
Me on the bus in Iowa. Man, this shit bussin'.
yeah, that's why she moved there. She heard it was bussin'. In 1947.
Oh, shit.
Now, the Quad Cities back then was kind of rough. Sort of like it kind of is in here, too. I mean, it hasn't changed much. That's what I'm saying. So, she does get a job doing laundry, but she's not making much money, which is not good for Margaret because she loves the nightlife. She likes to go out drinking. She likes to go out dancing. She likes to get
tattoos.
she likes to get her freak on.
Shit, whoa.
You go with your girl.
Go, Peggy.
Get your
It's your
freak on.
birthday.
Go shoddy. It's your birthday.
Copyright.
Freak on.
Okay.
Freak on.
Continue.
So one day she runs into Clarence Sunders. Now, Sunders is a former fling of hers from when she was living in Wyoming.
Candace.
Yeah. Woo.
What?
Yeah, she lived in Wyoming at some point.
She lived in Wyoming, met this guy,
Yeah.
and now she met him again in Davenport,
Davenport.
Iowa.
Yeah.
That's the most random thing I've ever heard.
Totally agree with you.
Suspicious.
I totally agree with you. All right. So the two of them decide that they're going to pose as a married couple so that they can rent a room at the Stamford Hotel. Now, the Stamford Hotel still exists today because it is now the German Heritage Museum, I believe is what it is. And so when you go right over the bridge, it's like right there. It's
Gotcha,
tall, it's brick, it's
gotcha.
green, it's German. Anyways, the hotel had...
Sorry. That was me. I'm sorry.
It wasn't
No,
me
you're
for a
good.
change. So the hotel had this super strict married couples only policy, but the rent was also super cheap, and it was something that they both could actually afford together. And that's what they do. They just go in and like, hey, we're married. And they're like, okay, I don't want to know. Stamp, you're
You
got
don't
a
need
room.
any licensing. Nothing like that. No paperwork. Okay, you're good.
Pretty much, yep.
Here's a fucking key.
Now, Sunders describes their relationship as being more like friends, but he also describes her as his girlfriend. So either they're friends with benefits or he's delusional. I don't know which.
She's
So-
leading him on.
I,
Like every other girl out there.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
feel me?
I feel you.
You feel me?
I feel you. Oh, yeah.
He feels me.
I'm sitting
Oh, yeah.
right here.
Okay, continue. Hurry. Hurry. Cut her
oh
off.
God. This is like the second podcast I've caused a divorce. Okay. So where am I? I don't know. Okay, there we go. All right. So like I said, he thinks that they might possibly be more, but she's just like, no, I'm going out with other men and I'm going to go stay the night with other men. Now, here's some of the crazy shit she would do to him. So one time she spent the night at a man's house in Rock Island and she left all of her clothes there. I don't know if she went home naked. I don't know if she got mad at him and packed up some clothes and went to this guy's house. I don't really understand it, but she asked Saunders to drive her around like Rock Island until she could remember the man or in his name or where he lived. She doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything about him.
And she just had him drive her around.
Yes. And he does it. He like dutifully agrees and tries to like find this house and this man so she could get her clothes back.
Yes, Miss Daisy.
Did she
real.
not buy new clothes, or is she still naked at this point?
That's the thing
He's
that
just
doesn't.
driving around naked.
Yeah.
Where's my clothes? What house was that?
He's like, yes, I will drive you around.
It was a white house. I know that.
Yeah, like it's just hardly any information from her to kind of like lead him to wherever. But you know, she does it, or he does it. He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you say.
It's probably because she was naked. That's why he did
Yeah.
whatever she said.
Yeah.
I don't think she was actually naked, but I don't know how much clothes she could have left there. I mean, it's a one-night stand.
Her
So
whole
like the
suitcase.
worst that you're leaving is like your underwear, right?
Prepare for the best.
I would imagine. Maybe your stockings. I don't fucking know what you wore back then.
That's like the probably like her underdress and
Yeah.
petticoat and all her weird shit.
So on September 29th, shout out to my daughter's birthday, 1947. She wasn't born then.
You weren't born then.
I wasn't. According to Brandon, I was. But... So at around 9 p.m., Saunders and Margaret go to bed. Soon after, Margaret gets out of bed, starts getting dressed, and Saunders asks her, like, what are you doing? It's a Monday night. We have to work. It's a fucking Monday night. And she's like, I just want to go down to the bar for about 15 or 20 minutes.
It's like, I'm a prostitute now. I work at night.
Now, Saunders goes back to sleep, and this is the last time he's going to end up talking to her. So,
Okay.
yeah. Now, she prefers to go to the bars that are in the 400 block of Davenport called Skid Row.
Lovely.
Ew.
I know.
Lovely.
Now, I know Skid Row to be a path in the underwear, and I also know...
Skid Row is also a homeless area in LA.
I think so, yeah. Isn't that where Ramirez like to hang out too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Davenport was trying to be like LA.
And there was that one hotel that's like right by Skid Row that had like a bunch of that girl in the
yep.
water tank. Yeah.
Yes, I want to do an episode on that one day because that's an interesting
Okay.
mystery.
You don't know
Brandon
that
knows
story?
nothing.
No, I don't.
No, he knows nothing about true crime. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Only the stuff I research. So I'm learning all of this as we go. Well,
So, like the name, most of the bars and nightclubs down there were run down. They were kind of shady. The people that frequented these joints were blue-collared workers who either had run-ins with the law or they were just doing shit the law didn't know about yet. So, Margaret's favorite bar was Bush's Tavern. And of course,
Bush's baked beans.
oh my gosh, that would be epic if at Bush's Tavern they served Bush beer with Bush's baked beans.
and that's all
In
they
the beer.
sold.
It's
That's
in the
it.
beer.
That's only
Bean beer.
Would the beans be in the beer, or would the beer be in the beans at that
I
point?
think it
Ooh.
depends
Stop
on the
talking.
quantity of which.
Stop talking.
It's like, is it a bowl
Can
of
versus
beans
can.
with
Can
beer
versus
dumped in
can.
it, or is it a glass of beer with beans in it?
Can versus can, you dump them both into a bowl at the same time. What's in what?
I think that would depend on if it's in a bowl or a glass.
Yeah.
Bowl.
Then it's
Then
beans
it's
with
the-
beer.
Yeah.
Glass.
And it's beer with beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beer with beans.
Do you drink it or use a spoon?
Neither. I wouldn't touch it.
You
I wouldn't touch
But
that
it's
shit.
Bush's baked beans.
you put
dude.
your face into it like a dog.
I have a question.
Their mascot is a dog.
Yeah.
That's true. I have just a serious question.
Okay.
If everyone in there is drinking beer and eating beans, how long before that place just doesn't smell pleasant?
I give it an hour.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Just an hour?
Like,
I'd say 30 minutes.
like
yeah.
I'd say 30
everyone.
minutes.
You gotta have like 8 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and my
If that.
husband.
And the people in this time period didn't take regular baths.
That's true. And my husband would call like
Yeah.
Shit was stanky from the start.
Skid Row, baby.
Welcome.
that's why it's called that. But I was also thinking, hey, I have to tell this story because I'm going to lose it if I don't. Okay. So my husband, He was in the military, and he, like, I don't know, when they shot shit, they had to say back blast area clear. So whenever somebody has to fart, that's what he says.
Back blast.
Area clear. So can you imagine if that's what the Patreons in this bar had to do every time they farted, they had to
It
yell
would
back
be
blast
so
area
loud.
clear.
Because everybody would be screaming that.
You know, back blast sounds like something else.
Oh my god.
Take a drink for that and let's move on.
I'm ready. Okay. So she decides she's going to go to her favorite bar, which is Bush's. And she goes in there and she decides that she's going to dance. And this is completely against the bar house rules.
What is this, the fucking bar in Footloose?
Yes. I don't know
No
why.
dancing.
Oh, eat your beans and shut up. Don't dance.
Dancing is outlawed.
So, of course she wants to dance because when she dances, men at the bar will buy her drinks.
Okay.
It's true.
Time
Sorry.
old tradition.
It really
Time
is.
old.
So, yeah, she breaks the rules. Now, the bartender, Ambrose Horton, tries multiple times throughout the night to get Margaret to just stop dancing for beers. And finally, at 12:30 in the morning, he's like had enough and kicks her out of the bar.
Why would the bar care? They're getting alcohol sales from this. So she's good for business.
I don't know if the way like he described it, like he was just like, I'm sick of it. I don't know if
Probably got
she's
too
like,
sloppy.
that's what I'm
Probably.
picturing, or maybe she's like throwing herself at people as she's dancing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a decency thing, probably.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say she's standing on top of the bar dancing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out there. She probably wasn't, but yeah. Now he says that she leaves by herself, but right before she leaves, she gets into an argument with one of the guys there at the bar. But it ends there, and that guy stays, and she leaves alone.
Gotcha.
Now another witness claims that she didn't leave alone that night, that she had gotten into a car with 3 other men.
What?
Yeah,
That's where her clothes went.
Mystery solved.
Each guy has
end.
one piece of clothing. Just we're gonna fuck with this girl, okay?
all right. So
I think you need more guys. I feel like clothes back then had like 16 pieces.
Probably.
She probably was wearing a
Do you
dress,
think-
though.
do you think it had that many? I thought they were actually down to like a bra, like underwear, like a slip, a dress, and then like shoes and stuff.
Were they still not doing the whole the corset thing? Or?
No, because
I
it's
don't know. I wasn't there.
47.
40s? Okay, yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
there.
So I think they've
Yeah,
moved on to just a bra. I think aren't the bras starting to look like cones and shit back then?
Yeah, because
Shelby.
50s.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
La 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 la. I don't want to hear this.
What?
Cooties.
What?
Go ahead and continue.
there was something about like the bra industry, like made by men. They're like pointy boobs are what we want. So they made all
know.
the bras pointed like cones.
Yeah, what is the point of that? Literally the point. Like why?
Stab me, baby.
Stab me with your pointy bosom.
Okay.
What the
hang on. Okay, I got something to say. 5th grade, we had a teacher. Her
Oh,
name was Miss
God.
Bosomworth. Shout out Mrs. B. Okay. Dude, it was so funny.
What was that bosom worth?
That's literally what we said all the time. Everyone's like, how much is her
No.
bosom's worth? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm just a student.
Bowtree fitty.
Shout out Mrs. B.
You're the real bee.
Okay. So, on the morning of Tuesday, September 30th, 1947, George Whitbeck was driving to work on Credit Island. So, he was like a park ranger or a park employee. And so, he was really familiar with the area. And he was able to like immediately notice that there was a body laying in the grass near the side of the road.
Oh.
Yeah. He turns around, parks near the body, and now his coworker, Orville Crow, really that's his name,
Orville Rettenmacher. He made
Nope.
popcorn.
he was a crow, okay? Orville Crow.
I got a crow.
I think that's actually a really
On the
cute
tip
name.
of my toe.
I got a crow. I'm sorry.
I've got a crow.
I only know that because of 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah,
That's
me
the
too.
only
Me
reason.
Wow.
too.
So Orville was shortly following behind him, and they both get out, look at the body. It's a nude female who's obviously deceased. So they, so they obviously decide that they're not going to hang around, and they go get their supervisor and call the police. Now, detectives and the coroner, Frank Kepi, I like his name.
There's a lot of weird names in this story.
I know. My parents have a cat named Frank. It's not Frank Kepi, but I feel like I need to start calling him Kepi.
Cappy.
Cappy. Okay, anyways. They arrive on the scene to examine the body. The female was determined to be in her 30s and was naked except for her shoes, which is kind of interesting.
So what?
Yeah.
Do they not want to sell her shoes?
But there was also a faded, battered photo of of a child near her body, which is weird because at no point do they ever bring this photo up again in the whole story. Yeah, but everywhere I look, they talk about this photo being found next to her, but they never say who the child is. They never say if it was actually a family member. They're just like, yeah, there was this photo next to her. So
I feel like they should have dug into this. Like, if it's not her family member, whose fucking kid is it?
I know. I mean, did somebody just accidentally drop a picture?
Yeah,
But-
it's like, did someone have a picture of their kid in their pocket and it fell out while they were murdering her? And
I know.
A
Like,
body.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I was like,
Honestly,
body. It's like, that's a photo of a kid.
that's a
Whatever.
great old picture.
We're not going to do anything with this photo. And which is
I
weird
hate that.
because photos were so expensive back then, and a lot of the photo companies would put their signature on the photograph, so you could actually go to that photographer and say, hey, do you recognize these people?
Yeah, so because if it's just like a picture of a kid, maybe the person who killed her, that's their kid.
I know.
Find the kid, find the killer.
Yeah, well, no, nobody does shit with it, so it's just hanging out by her body. So
Dumbasses.
her clothing was about 25 feet away from her, and it was a light blue floral dress and a dark blue jacket. The clothing was ripped to shreds and covered with blood. Now, Kepi originally thought the female was stabbed at least 10 times. Badly beaten, based on this giant cut on her forehead, and ran over by a car at least 3 to 4 times.
What the fuck?
And they based that
Holy
off of the
shit.
tire tracks. So, obviously if you drive forward and back up, they based it at least 4 times. Now, due to the sadistic nature of the crime, Kepi was pretty sure that the victim was raped. Now, the female had something on her body that was super weird and rare for women in the
Where?
40s. She had multiple tattoos on her body. Now, they included her social security number.
What?
Don't know why. Butterflies in various patterns. Stanley Dubkowski. True love on her chest above an elaborate design of a snake with fangs.
The snake a cat?
Well, her dog's a fucking rooster, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
Animals pretending to be different animals is the theme of this episode.
And that is all, folks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Peggy and Stan, 1946, was on the right arm. Frank and James Stanley was on the left arm. I don't know who those two are. I really don't know who Frank and James Stanley are. I could tell you the next one here in a second. A large cross bearing the phrase Rock of Ages was on her left leg. Above the names Bill and Ezzy. Now, Bill was her brother. I don't know who Ezzy was. I don't know if that was his wife or one of his kids, but I do know Bill was her brother. So, who Frank and James Stanley were, I don't know.
Apparently someone that she had more than a one-night stand with, and she's like, we've had 2 nights together, better put their name on my body.
Yeah, well, there was also Richard and a heart on her body too, which is not a family member either. So she just really liked tattooing men.
Damn.
I think she's just, every single body she's had, she's just putting their name on her own body.
I think so.
She's like, this
It kinda
way I
makes
don't
sense.
forget. She's like, Richard, and James Stanley, and Ezzy, and
Date and time.
Dayton time.
She did put
Dumb
lots of
cow.
dates, too. Ski. Don't forget the ski part.
who were married for less than a year.
Now, Credit Island was considered a lover's lane because the amount of trees that covered the park, making it easy to hide from, people. Like, they won't see us down here. But the victim was left, wide out in the open, amongst all the tall grass. So the detective's theory was that the killer wanted the body to be found because he could have just dragged her body over to the Mississippi River and tossed her in. Because it was literally a few feet away. Or fleet.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fleet.
So police took castings of the tire tracks, bagged up the clothes as evidence, and then put out a radio report with a description of her tattoos in hopes that someone would be able to identify her. Now, Credit Island was only 3 miles away from the Stamford Motel. That's it. I looked it up on Google Maps. It actually looks like a really cool place, and I kind of want to go.
Maybe we'll make a trip out there.
Yeah, we'll take pictures. So, Saunders is returning home from the hotel, returning to the hotel, which is his home, after spending the morning walking up and down Skid Row looking for Margaret because she failed to return home that night. So he spent all morning walking up and down Skid Row looking for Margaret because she didn't return home that night. One of the hotel employees tells Sunder that they had heard on the radio that the body of an unidentified woman was found on Credit Island. And based off the description, they were pretty sure it was his wife. Sunders goes down to the police station to see if he would be able to identify the body. The police department said that they were expecting him because the hotel had already called.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Damn.
So, they basically said someone at the hotel called. They suspected that it was the body of Margaret Treese. Sunders is led to the body. He positively identifies it as Margaret, and the police immediately start questioning him. He gives them as much background information on Margaret as he knows, including some information about the other 2 men she dated while they were living in the Quad Cities. He didn't know their names, but he knew one was from Rock Island.
God damn it.
Wow.
And he knew that he drove a brown Chevy. And he was tall.
I mean, at least he's got something.
He has something. More than Margaret did because she could find him or the house.
Or her clothes.
I know.
Dude, where's my clothes?
And
Totally interesting movie.
Yes.
Sunders also tells the police that he has a criminal background. He was convicted of robbery in both Colorado and Nebraska.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
He did his research.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the police don't really believe that Sunders has anything to do with the murder, but they don't want to rule him out yet based off of some witness testimony. So one witness claimed that they had seen Sunders and Margaret out that afternoon, out at the bars, and he didn't know what they were arguing about, but he does know Margaret got very upset with him and slapped him across the face and then marched her little happy ass out of the bar.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
So that's who she was arguing with?
Yeah. And another witness said that he knew that Sunders could be a very jealous man when it came to Margaret. Police decide to hold him until they're able to eliminate him as a suspect. Another potential suspect was Francis Shelby. He was arrested that night for groping women in Rock Island, and he was known to carry a large knife that he said he got in Britain. They were able to...
All right.
Want to see my knife?
Yeah, written.
I don't know why he's running around groping women and flashing this knife going, I got it in Britain, but that's what he did. So...
Yeah, people in the 40s were fucking weird.
Yeah.
It was a crazy time. Crazy time.
They make all of our meth heads seem slightly sane.
Right.
So they were able to rule him out as a suspect when his car tires didn't match up with the castings that they had taken.
Maybe he stole a car.
That's a good point, but he probably didn't need to because he had that fancy knife.
From Britain, might I add.
From Britain.
So the autopsy comes back, and Kepi had determined that Margaret was stabbed 19 times.
Jesus.
Someone was
That was
mad
aggression.
at her.
Yes.
That's aggression.
Yeah, that was personal.
Yeah.
So that's,
That was a personal killing.
That's
Yeah.
a crime passion.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yes.
The imprint made by the murder weapon was in the shape of an X, leading him to believe that it was a screwdriver. That has to be, in my
Damn.
opinion, super violent. Because I can't imagine stabbing anything with a screwdriver. But maybe it's because I don't stab
Jesus.
times.
Especially 19 times.
Yeah.
I think I got one in the room.
Let's try it out.
Pass. I'm leaving.
You can't leave now. We're in the middle of an episode.
So Kepi was able to determine that she wasn't sexually assaulted during the murder. And the official cause of death wasn't the 19, stab wounds. It was a crushing injury, most likely the one that was done to her head.
Jesus.
From being run over by a car.
Oh, no.
She also had broken ribs, lots of bruising. That all makes sense.
God, that means she was laying there with 19 stab wounds and then got her head crushed by a car.
Yeah. 4 times. That's just crazy.
Wow.
The day after the murder, Sunders was sent to Chicago to take a lie detector test because the police department just didn't want to hold on to him any longer. And he passed with flying colors. And the Davenport police were like, hey, see you later. Bye.
Okay.
That's literally what they did. So a week later, they had another suspect, 55-year-old Pete Peterson.
Pete Peterson.
Yep. Pete. Good old
His
Pete.
parents hated him.
They really did. It's like, who is like, yeah, our name's Peterson. Let's name our kid Pete.
Pete. Pete.
Ugh.
Pete.
What's his initials?
PP.
You said pee-pee.
Oh my god. We're so mature. Okay. So Pete was known to hang out in the same shitty bars on Skid Row with Margaret. According to Sunders, because Sunders is like, hey, check out Pete.
Check out Pete's pee-pee.
Over at Skid Row.
He said that Peterson was super mad at Margaret because Margaret got him drunk and then robbed him. Yeah.
Ooh.
He promised Sunders that if he ever catches up to her, it will be bad.
Well,
Foreshadow.
pretty bad.
However, this lead didn't pan out because Peterson was working on a farm 5 or 6 miles north of Davenport. Honestly, that's the dumbest elimination I ever heard.
He had an alibi.
He was 5 miles away.
It's like he was working 5 miles away. It couldn't have been him.
Nope, he was feeding the chickens.
fucking chickens.
So the chickens
He
told
might have
me
been fucking
so.
chickens. Oh.
Have you seen Chicken Run?
I liked that movie. All right.
Stand that growing up.
Now, there was no more leads for like the next 4 years until a man by the name of William Brinkley walked into the Salinas, California Police Department. He told the sergeant that he was turning himself in for the murder of Margaret Treese. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. He probably dismissed him.
Well, hang on a second. We're not quite there yet. He claimed that the night he had murdered Margaret, he had met her in a bar. They were dancing and drinking, and after a bit, Margaret was like, hey, big boy,
Ugh.
you wanna...
I don't like this already.
No.
I don't like this already.
I'll take the
wanna-
screwdriver
Yeah, I'll do it to myself.
for science.
I was seppuku myself with a screwdriver. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, she goes, hey, you sexy beast. Do you want to go...
That's his words.
Cooties.
Yes, of course. He said that she called him big boy and sexy beast.
Vom.
And
That'll
then...
get me every time.
And then she was like, you want to go for a drive? And he was like, fuck yeah. So then...
I'm sorry.
So the problem was... Now I'm picturing like those cartoon characters whose eyes go... Yeah.
You saying that just makes me picture The Mask.
Yes.
That's it. So...
Smoking.
So Brinkley didn't have a car, and he decided he was going to walk up and down the street until he found one with keys in it.
Oh.
He does. He breaks in, starts up the car, and he goes to the bar and picks up Margaret. And they
runs
go
her over.
and then they go to Credit Island. Now, Brinkley tries to have sex with Margaret, but now she was like, oh, I ain't interested. And tells him that she wants to head back to the city. Enraged, Brinkley picks up a pipe and hits her on the head. Then he stuffs a hanky in her mouth, strips off her clothing, and chokes her to death with the blouse. And then he rapes her. And then runs her over with the car before leaving the island and abandoning the car and heading home.
But there was no stab wounds. You didn't say anything about stab wounds.
You're very good at listening.
I'm paying attention.
I know. I'm very proud of you. Keep your crown. So, the Salinas Police Department turns over Brinkley's confession to the Davenport police, and there was some problems and some major inconsistencies with his confession.
Yeah.
The evidence of the crime scene was that, he was stabbed, like you said, and she was never raped. So they look into Brinkley's background and find that he had been a mental patient for 11 years at an Iowa hospital, and he was released.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was released in 1943. The very next year, he was found in a car with another guy and some underage females. He was then arrested for vagrancy in 1949 in Davenport, and then also again in 1951, in Redwood City, California. So the police get this phone call from Brinkley's sister-in-law, and she's like, there's no way. Like, Brinkley can't drive. So they're like, okay, we're going to test this. we're going to test this theory.
We're going to put him in a car.
So drive this car.
You are now a suspect, but we're going to put you in a car
That's-
with keys and you can drive.
That's 100% what they do. So they basically take him out to a car and are like, hey, we need you to drive this around. And he literally breaks down. It was like, I made the whole thing up.
Wow.
Why? I mean, to get attention probably.
Probably.
But why?
It was so specific and it was just.
And he got a lot of the details, like the running her over with the car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they must have put that in
The news or something.
Yeah,
Right.
newspaper.
Now, Brinkley was the last suspect ever in this case, and it is still a cold case to this day. But there are a few theories. So,
Sunders.
yeah. So in 1956, 9 years after the murder, a woman who wants to remain unidentified claims that she was sitting on a bench in Washington Park or Washington Square. I guess it was kind of like, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was somewhere near this part, or near Credit Island. And she saw Margaret drive by with two men. And these two men were prominent police figures. And this is the reason why she didn't want to come forward. She said that the two men were the police figures, and she does turn this over to the chief of police, and at that time it was Harvey Smith. Now, he does acknowledge that she gave them this tip, but that is it. There's no mention of any kind of investigation. There's no mention of who the officers were. There's not even, anybody they suspect in the police department. It's, just drops dead there.
So they covered it up.
Pretty much.
Damn.
So there is that one theory where they're like, okay, did the police department cover up the fact that this could potentially have been, a situation like maybe they picked her up because she was, drunk, and she might have been walking home to the hotel, and they could have picked her up for public intoxication and could have gone south. I don't know.
It could have been Sunders and PP.
I don't know. So, the other one that's kind of interesting was on September 7th, 1947. So this is about 3 weeks before her murder. A tree trimmer named James John Winfield, his body was found beaten and crushed in a hobo camp along the Mississippi River. Now, John's wife worked at the same laundry place as Margaret, and James ran around with the same group of people as Margaret.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now, Sunders does make a comment to the police about the two of them knowing each other, and the police at one point told reporters they actually believed that Margaret could have been coming forward with some information about his murder and could have been killed to be kept quiet. Now, in 1948, Howard Jack Holmes was arrested and convicted of the murder of Winfield, but was never charged with Margaret's death. So there is the theory that, hey, there's a possibility that he could have killed her too. But nobody investigated it because, I don't know.
Jesus.
So the last theory is actually my own. I didn't find this anywhere on the internet, and it just blows my mind that nobody ever thought of it. But I think Sunders did it. That's my opinion. So
he got pissed off because she was out with other guys.
So he referred to her as his girlfriend, but she was sleeping with other men.
Yeah.
He got tired of it and it snapped.
Yeah, she was going out to bars all the time, and he was undoubtedly interested in her.
Yeah.
And then they got into an argument at the bar, and then she slapped him.
I know. So those were all the things I put in there. Plus, you're going to tell me that the person you're living with, you never noticed them not coming home until you wake up in the morning. Like, you go to sleep around, let's say, because they originally went to bed at 9. So let's say she finally leaves the house at 9:30 or whatever. So you're just going to stay asleep until like 7 and never notice she doesn't come home?
Maybe.
That just blows my mind. And it was the hotel workers that originally reported it to the police. And nobody saw him leave the hotel to go find her on Skid Row. They only saw him coming back. So, and that's when they were like, hey, and I'm assuming what happened was the hotel workers probably went upstairs. They probably knocked on the door, was like, okay, no one's here, so we're going to report her as a possible murder victim. That's what I'm guessing. Nobody says it, but that kind of makes sense. Also, the other thing I thought was kind of interesting is if you were listening like really super carefully, Sunders is the one that gives the police like almost every one of their leads. They're like, oh, by the way, it could have been this guy.
Yeah, he wants to.
By the way, it could have been that guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing I thought was interesting was he does have access to some kind of vehicle because he drives her around trying to find Mr. Rock Island. Right. But nobody ever compares his tire tracks. That just seems strange to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And, we all touched on the fact that, Margaret was cuckolding the dude. So, whatever. And it was definitely, like we all pointed out, a crime of passion.
Yeah.
But it was also a weapon of convenience. Like, he's pissed at... The murderer was pissed and probably didn't have a knife on him or a gun.
He just had a screwdriver.
Yeah.
It stabbed her with it. She's laying there bleeding with 19 puncture wounds from a screwdriver. And he's like, you know what? Backs over, goes back over.
Yeah. And the last time she's seen is at 12:30 in the morning. So at 12:30 in the morning to whenever he's actually spotted by the employees, which I'm going to guess is probably like, I'm being nice, I'm going to say like 9 a.m. That's 8.5 hours for him to get rid of the screwdriver, to change his clothes, to clean himself up. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So I think the police just removed him as a suspect way too quickly. Plus, you can pass lie detector tests, like, in your people's sleep. Like,
yeah, you can trick your mind into doing it.
Especially if you have, like, baseline, like, mental issues. Like, if you're a sociopath and you don't feel anything anyways.
Right. And he had a criminal past, which I'm not saying like everybody that robs people are going to murder people, but I mean, to me, he shouldn't have been eliminated. So that's my opinion. I think Sunders did it.
Same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the story of the unsolved murder of the tattoo lady in Davenport, Iowa.
I hate unsolved murders. I hate anything unsolved.
Well, now you have to
go solve it.
I think we did.
We just did.
I'm pretty positive it's Sunders, in my opinion.
Go prove it if it bothers you.
They're all dead right now.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's dead.
Prove it.
They can't question
Prove
him anymore.
They can't question you either.
So
True.
You should go say you did it.
Yes.
No.
Turn yourself in.
It was my great grandpa. It was my great grandpa.
Like, I did it in a past life.
Yeah. I'm from the past.
I'm a time traveler. I did this in the 40s.
Just walk into the Davenport police department.
They
like,
will
hi.
lock you up so fast. I'm like, he's fucking nuts.
Great Scott.
Then they call Sam and she's like, I don't know. I don't know him. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him.
He keeps saying Margaret in his sleep. I don't know.
All right. So with the help of Sam, I am going to say this segment correctly.
Oh,
because
no.
I actually typed it out. Okay, everybody. true crime or doing time?
That's not it.
It is too. She
I'm
told
just
me
kidding,
it is.
I'm
I
just
was gonna. I'll never get it right after that, but at least I'm proud of myself.
All
Just
right.
go back to this one for reference.
That's true. All right. So the first one. A Nashville, Tennessee Popeyes had to call authorities after a man dressed as a man was dressed in a large yellow chicken costume.
I mean,
It's
Hang
not
on.
far-fetched.
It's not.
no.
It's funny, though.
So it is. It probably wouldn't be
very
an
funny.
issue if things didn't get a little crazy because this is why I picked it. So Terrence Wallace told employees that he wasn't leaving until he consumed 15 buckets of fried chicken.
He's determined.
So, yeah.
He's determined. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So employees stated that after every piece of chicken, Wallace would disrupt the business and distress customers. Yancy Nielsen, a Popeyes employee, said whenever he ate a wing, he would fly around the store clucking. I saw him crying over a bucket of chicken, saying it was his children.
But he was eating it.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's a cannibal, if you think about it. Fucking cannibal chickens.
The Kentucky cannibal.
So the manager asked
Popeye's cannibal.
Popeye's cannibal.
the manager asked Wallace to leave multiple times and let him know that he would be calling the police. This didn't faze Wallace, who continued to reply with a cluck. A cluck. Not a chuck. A cluck. A cluck. National.
It's not quite a chuckle, but it's just a chuck.
Yep. Cluck, cluck. He probably was like cluck, 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 cluck. Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
That was like a turkey, though.
Yeah.
You don't.
That's a better one.
Yes, we'll have your dog.
Where's your fucking mask?
It's right on
next
your
to you.
ass.
Oh, there. Yeah.
In spirits.
You have a hat on.
In spirits. Oh, yeah.
Good luck, because that thing stinks.
Now do it.
Oh my god.
I thought he was going to put the hat on, too.
Even better.
Oh, boy. So Nashville police arrive and arrest Wallace for disrupting the peace, trespassing, and loitering. The chicken costume was compensated by the police. So, next one. A Florida man who returned home from a doctor's appointment got a surprise.
Florida man.
I know. Got a surprise and an eyeful when he discovered a woman skinny dipping in his pool. The unidentified man found 42-year-old Heather Kennedy swimming around in his backyard pool. According to the report from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, Kennedy refused to get out of the pool and leave. The man called police. He's putting the hat on. I don't blame him. The man had to call the police after she became hot. Oh my god. After she refused to leave the pool. I can't even tell the story.
With the headphones.
It actually looks much better with the hat on.
It actually does. Carry on.
Okay.
Carry
So
on.
there's a naked chick in a pool. She was refusing to leave. The police show up. Okay, here we go. So she then gets hostile with authorities. And the police asked her several times. Kennedy got out of the pool, put on her clothes. But then, once she was dressed, the police tried to detain her, but she still resisted. She was eventually put in jail. And she still wouldn't identify herself. And they had to identify her by mugshots. Okay, which one is the real one? McChicken
I'd say Popeyes.
or McNaked?
Yes, I said Mick naked.
I am going to go with Popeye being fake.
What?
I'm saying Mick
Popeye's
naked's real.
fake. Popeye's fake. Naked lady is real.
All right. So, Naked Lady is real.
Boom!
Popeye's chicken is not.
Damn.
Although I kind of
that
want.
would have been awesome, though.
Can you at least one day take the chicken hat and go into KFC?
Maybe that'll be on a special video.
How about when we hit 2,000 downloads? We're not far away from it, but when we hit it, let's buy a bucket of chicken with our mask on.
You know, I already made one promise.
I'll buy a bucket of fucking chicken with a mask on. I don't care.
I followed through with it, and now I have no hair on my armpits. But
That's not
you
true.
can
You've got stubble.
Aw.
you can make this bet,
I'll do it.
and then she'll make a bet next time.
Okay. I will go in and buy a bucket of chicken.
What do I need to go to IKEA with a horse mask?
Yes.
I need to make it stable for my horse. I need to make it stable.
Can I have some of your meatballs that are made of horse meat?
But every time they ask you a question,
Yeah.
you just got to reply in that animal voice.
Fuck. I need you to interpret then. So you would go up there and I would just be
Okay.
like, cluck, cluck, cluck.
She wants a number 4 combo.
Large family
drink.
feast. Family feast.
Can you put a chicken leg in her drink as well?
Oh.
I would prefer a lemonade with a side of wing.
The side of meat.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to cut that episode. It was a pretty long episode.
This gets worse the warmer it gets.
But if you haven't already, check out our Facebook at A Beer, Crime, and Tale, where we post our newest episodes and updates on our upcoming episodes.
And be sure to check out our Instagram at A Beer, A Crime, A Tale.
And send us emails at abeercrimeatale@gmail.com.
And also check out our YouTube. This is the
Yeah.
first episode on YouTube. If you aren't already watching it on YouTube,
Yeah.
you
the
get to see the
subscribe.
funny, you know,
Antics.
yes,
Yeah.
in the background
Antics.
that you don't get to see when you're listening to the podcast. But
You find out that I talk with my hands, and that's why I hit every piece of equipment in the room.
You get to see Brandon in a chicken mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, Braden, for joining us.
Oh,
you were
you're
awesome.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You will be in the next episode.
So whatever you're listening to, hit subscribe, both on YouTube, every podcast platform,
Yes.
everything. Rate us on everything. Comment on everything. Hit bells and whistles and whatever shit
think
is on
they
your
get it. I
podcast.
think they
Just
get
do
it,
that
Shelby.
stuff.
Okay, and
But
now
they still have to know, just in case.
you know what? We're gonna start fading out as we always do in every episode. So I will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
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 He just thinks that he's